Designing the Supply Chain Network for Customization. This is part 2 of my interview series with Farhan Mirza, president of BAFF Consultants, and we discussed how vehicle customization will drive the supply chain of the future. This time we went a little deeper into the issue by focusing on designing the supply chain network for customization in the automotive industry. Essentially, it means that you build a new local supply base which can handle customized orders. Farhan takes us step by step on the journey and includes some practical examples. He believes customization will be the biggest thing in the automotive world within the next 10 years. And so my first question is, can you talk about what is a supply chain network for customization?
Yeah, hello, Dustin. Good morning to you, and thank you very much for having me again on your blog, and always a pleasure interacting with you. And yes, customization as a topic itself, it's a personal passion of mine, and love to work on this, and would like to see this pretty much spread more and more across all platforms, all vehicle lines as the craze and grows through on this. So coming to your point, when we talk about what is a supply chain network for customization, I would say that just like you go in and start something from a new assembly plant maybe, and let's just focus on automotive because the customization on the automotive sector is what I have been focusing on lately, but I do believe customization will go much beyond automotive in a lot of other areas too. So you take in an assembly plant environment and go in and set something up, and then you have the ancillaries, your immediate suppliers, their tiered suppliers, they would come around you. So it could be a total greenfield ideally, or it could be a hybrid between a brownfield which already exists and you modify that, get some more needed stuff. That's what the goal is, what we are trying to accomplish here. And at least me personally, along with some other folks who are experts in the industry, believe that you cannot use the existing supply base because of the niche market, the slower volumes, the quick to market turnaround, and some other criteria on qualifying these customized parts. You can't use and disrupt the flow of the mass production suppliers. Either they will have to create their separate entities, or you go with some specialized smaller suppliers whom you interact with, and then create that network. You keep on going back to them for newer and different versions of vehicles which you customize. So in a nutshell, that's what the supply chain network for customization means.
And can you talk about why do we need to do this?
Absolutely. What I'm going to be sharing with you, Dustin, is some pictures of an Isuzu V-Cross 4x4 vehicle which was launched in India a year and a half back. And my childhood friend, he and I started going to kindergarten, and then we pretty much grew up together. Barkat Ali Khan is his name, and he resides in India, and he's a realtor developer, and a passion for him. And is a serial entrepreneur too, but a passion for him is also customization and vehicle customization, just like mine. So two like-minded folks who have been childhood friends got together, and then what we did was we started customizing this Isuzu V-Cross. Took up just a stock vehicle and which Barkat purchased, and we pretty much got I would say anything and everything on it which you would see the pictures is from the best of the best known names in off-roading, Australia, UK, and USA. And when it was all said and done, we realized that the price has really extrapolated. Although the demand was there, this became the most coveted vehicle in India. And we had folks from Isuzu who had come in to evaluate what we did. And at the same time, within the country, the demand was phenomenal. There's nothing else like it. But the price point being so significantly higher because of the imports and tariffs and duties, we said that the pricing is an issue, the delivery timing is an issue, the geopolitical and economic conditions which take place. That could be an issue. Foreign exchange changes and logistics costs and customs clearances. All these add up. So when all these add up, the cost add up. In a nutshell, what you are 4 to 5 times over what you could be doing when you localize and operate within a local network. That's why it's more and more important. We realize you got to have a local supply chain network where you are actually customizing the vehicle.
And can you talk about how the supply chain network for customization is set up?
Sure, it's going to be a lot more difficult than how I would describe it, but the philosophy and the methodology will be the same no matter what industry you go to. So what I believe I'm going to be stating right now would apply to pretty much across the platform, different product lines. And it's a plan, do, check, act circle. So take a pie, cut into 4 quadrants, and then the 4 quadrants are plan, do, check, act. So you would pretty much go and evaluate what's available in the local supply base. Then what you would do is you would start making some trials. An example I can give you, you probably will definitely be asking me how I can substantiate with an example. So leather, we imported leather from what the same supply chain which the exotic manufacturers, the high-end Italian and other European manufacturers would use. We procured the leather, but the stitching was done locally in India. So we had to start with the same material. So the cost is high when you do the trials. Went ahead and identified who would be the best couple to 3 suppliers, honed them down with the same plan, do, check, act methodology of going to a couple of them. Then we went through doing some actual trials and trial error, and then eventually came down to one specific supplier. And as you go through the trials, you see we are experienced in what we need as a final output. We know where the benchmark is. We know the global standard. We know what we have been seeing for years in some of the truly high-end automakers. And then we went ahead and said, when we got to the point of one supplier being a little bit better than the other, and we were able to they were a lot more easily coachable, and there were a willingness on their side was to get to the benchmark. Sometimes someone is not coachable, at other times someone may not be willing to come to that same level of your standardize, improve, standardize. So that's the next mantra. You never get to an end goal. You always keep on improving. You standardize, then you again improve. And at the end of it, I would say, even today, what you see when you see the pictures on some of the leathers, the diamond cut stitching, the pattern stitching which we have, the cross stitch, and then how the headrest and the rest of the seat and the leathers pull through, you will eventually come and see that it's pretty good. But for me, I'm not even 75% there. I'm there about 75%. There's still room for improvement, which will go back. So what I gave you the story is just for one leather seat and how we did this. A lot of other stuff, maybe down in other subsequent sessions, I'll explain how other suppliers we have worked with and we continue to work with. But it's a process. It took months to get to this one leather supplier and the success story.
Thanks. I know you mentioned, did you have any other examples that you would like to share?
Yeah, one other thing which I would say is you got to have your tooling purchase. So rather than going, initially we rented some stuff, and you could go to the big names like Granger, etc. But then whatever vehicle you're working on, you got to get that tooling. So we have a shop now established, a specific place. We keep it pretty much wrapped undercover. So it's when we trust someone, only then we get the person in, and only then no photography, etc. allowed. Over there, the entire tooling. So we could literally dismantle the vehicle, put it back up. All the tooling exists. That was a heavy capital expenditure. So you got to be prepared to do that. But those are the initial steps. So the shop established, the tooling established, then you have got the local suppliers you look for, and then you got to get the workmanship. So you go in and start working, again, taking stuff off, putting back on, taking stuff off, putting back on. You keep on doing that cycle till someone gets an expert. We have got a cycle rack established on it. We have got some rafts for fishing, etc., or for crossing a river which may be 6-7 feet in water. We have got those examples. Then we have got winches where you can put in X tons. I'm going to refrain from the actual tonnage, but I could literally pull a vehicle from the front and a vehicle from the back, and I could lift the vehicle. So all these things being not just procuring them, but to install them. Now, a lot of stuff we are doing in parallel is how can we customize that to meet all the safety requirements, the fit and function requirements, and at the same time, the motor vehicle registry requirements, and still be able to have that locally manufactured for these builds. So in summary, I would say what was a stock vehicle at $25,000, we have put on stuff which, because of the imports and because of all the duties and tariffs and foreign exchange and the involved, it cost us about $60,000 to get all of this top-notch quality components. So you are looking at a $60,000 approximately pricing without the human effort which Barkat and I have put into this. He has put in significantly more than me. So let's say we both split about $20,000 for the 4 or 5 months of work we did. So that brings the car again to about an $85,000. We have got live offers right now for selling this thing because it's one of a kind. Nothing else in India exists like this, for about $75,000. And so, but the margin's not there. Can I make a living out of this? Not really. But for me to make a living out of this, at the same time, be able to have every class of society be able to afford within their price range a vehicle we can customize. It's got to get more localized, the supply chain. So this is, I think still we are scratching the surface, a lot of work to be done, but I can assure you 10 years from now, you will be remembering me and I'll be remembering you and saying, you were right, this is happening all around me, and is the biggest thing in the automotive world.
Yeah, this is exciting, and I look forward to continue our discussions regarding this and go into more detail.
Absolutely, and then my goal is, I keep on saying that, yeah, rather than having minimal margins or just break even, we are making headway with having some profit, because at the end of the day, as you will agree, every business has to make some margin. And our goal is to live with our passion, which we have in this work, and at the same time have a little bit of profit margin where we can have a comfortable living, at the same time work for our passion. And it's a win-win situation, and give people, well, they will enjoy every day and then thank us for what we did to make a little bit of a difference in their lives.
And thanks again for sharing, Farhan.
Pleasure. Thank you very much, and look forward to more discussion, Destin. As always, a pleasure talking to you.